or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Hello and welcome to this Zwift Run live stream. My name is Stephen. I'm a Zwift ambassador, a community run leader and your host today. There's a countdown clock up there showing how long to go before the start of the main event, so you've probably got time to tidy the kitchen, take the trash out and grab yourself a drink before we get going. If you've never seen Zwift before, it's an online game where athletes from all over the world train, compete against and socialise with each other live and in real time. All you need to take part is a foot pod, an internet connection, access to a treadmill and a device on which to run the Zwift app. You can use a computer, an iPad, an iPhone, a high-end Android device. Zwift even works on Apple TV. If you have a smart treadmill, you don't even need a foot pod, as your treadmill will send your speed direct to Zwift. Once you've logged in and made sure your equipment is connected, you can join others live for structured group workouts or social runs. You could do a solo workout or take part in one of the many in-game challenges. You could also pit yourself against people from all over the world in a race. There are various Zwift worlds. Some are based on existing places like London, New York, Innsbruck, Richmond, Virginia and Harrogate in the UK. But the biggest world is the fictional Watopia, where you can run in glass tunnels underwater, through the middle of a volcano, in a jungle, up to the top of a snow-capped mountain and on country trails. Watopia is where the Zwift developers let their imagination fly. Like any computer game, the more you run, the higher up the levels you climb and the more virtual goodies you require. If you're a regular treadmill runner, Zwift is going to transform your training. If you're a hater, Zwift is going to change the way you think about indoor running. Before we go any further, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that subscribe button and the bell icon so you're notified every time we go live on this channel. If you're watching on Facebook, please click the like button on the Film My Run page. Film My Run is also my other YouTube channel where I post real world runs, so if you're interested in marathons, ultra running, 10Ks or triathlons, you'll find product reviews, interviews and races over on that channel. I've been running all my life. I started running long distance races in 2011 when I ran my first half marathon, and that was followed a year later by my first marathon in Paris. I've run the Paris Marathon every year since and have now run well over 100 marathons and ultras. I started using Zwift at the beginning of 2015 when indoor cycling and smart trainers really took off. In the early days, I held the long distance record for cycling of 500 kilometres on Zwift for about 48 hours. And when running started in 2016, I was the first person to run a marathon on Zwift. So if you have any questions about Zwift, if I don't know the answer, I probably know somebody who does. Okay, so now you can go and take the trash out and get that drink. And make sure you keep an eye on that countdown and be back in time for the start proper. Well, go on then, don't just sit there gawping at me. Basically, this message is going to go around in a loop again and again until the start of the run, so you may as well go and do something constructive in the meantime. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Film My Run on Zwift. My name is Stephen Cousins and we are broadcasting live on Facebook and on YouTube. While we're getting everything ready, it would be absolutely awesome if you could go and subscribe to the Film My Run YouTube channel and also the Zwift Live YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/filmmyrun and also Twitter at filmmyrun, and the website is www.filmmyrun.com. It's very nearly time, so sit back, relax, don't forget to drop me a ride on and watch me do all the hard work. Okay, stage 6 of the tour of Makuri Islands. And we are going off in 30 seconds. It's only 4K, so we'll be over and done with very quickly indeed. And we have Paul Hayward, we have Carlo, Heather, Amanda, Tina in the chat there. Jean Vandervold is with us. And Heather is running. Sebastian has just joined us as well. I'm going to go at 10 kph. Is that all right? So it'll be over in a flash. But let's get this done. Let's get our final reward for the final run in the Tour of Watopia. No, Tour of Makuri Islands season. Yoko, hello Yoko. A brand new video, by the way, just dropped on the Film My Run channel. Sunday's Brighton 10k. If you want to go and have a look at how I did in Sunday's Brighton 10k. Right, Carlos says, hello, Zwift Run Pod or NPE Run? That's a tough one because in my opinion, they're both fairly rubbish. I think if you had to go for one... Oh dear. I suppose the run. As long as you set up the NPE run correctly, and that can take some fiddling, it can take some work, that will probably be better. And also, it's supposedly can measure the incline that you do as well. Although I've never got it to work very well with incline. Hello, Leo. Leo says, hope you're all well. Thank you very much, Leo. Yeah, we're doing all right. Doing okay. So Paul Hayward is in the run. Jean van der Vold is in the run. I think Tina is there too. Finn Robert is there. Quintella is there from Belgium. GK, Sebastian is there. Shaw from Scotland. Svensson from Sweden. Adrian is there. Nick Dumbleton is there. Good to have you on board, guys. Oh, Sebastian says stuck on the start line. Clive says jumper off, tassels out. Evening, Nick. So yeah, only 4 kilometers. So we will be done in no time, really. Leo says, did you run a 10k at the weekend? I did. Yeah, I did try and get sub 40, Leo, but I didn't quite manage it. Died a little bit of a death at 6k. Had 2 kilometers of awful running, but then kind of pulled it back a bit and did all right, but not quite sub 40. 40 minutes and something. 40 minutes and change. Clive says, I should really be going outside in an hour, but it's cold and dark. And the football's on, Clive. Okay, Carlo. Yes, so if that's all you can afford on your budget, then yeah, go for that and then go for the run, the NPE run. The only benefit of having the run pod is that you can easily go other places with it. So if you were to go on holiday or a business trip and you were staying in a hotel, you could use the hotel treadmill with your run pod. It's a little less easy to transport the run sensor on location with you. That's the only upside of getting a foot pod. But maybe, I mean, if you've got some very supportive, friendly family members, you could get them to club together to buy you a Stride foot pod for Christmas. That would be the best idea, apart from getting a smart treadmill, which is the best idea. Next best down is getting a smart treadmill. Marcus says, hello, enjoy your 2.5 mile run. I think he's referring... Are you referring to the chat on the sub-3 marathon group? On Facebook, on the sub-3 marathon group, somebody said, do you run in miles or kilometres? It's always a contentious question. Anyway, there we are. Oh, Leo said he missed what I said. Yeah, I did Brighton 10k on Sunday, Leo. And there's a video just gone onto the Film My Run channel tonight. So you can see how I did there. So tomorrow we're going to be doing the Wednesday workout, and I think that's the first time, if I manage to do it tomorrow, it'll be the first time I've done Wednesday workout in ages, because we've had the Tri Academy runs to fit in, but they're now done. Although, have I done the finish line run? Yes, I have. Yes, we did the finish line run, didn't we? Sebastian has only just managed to start running. He got stuck on the start line. Yeah, workout Wednesday on Wednesday, Clive. What day is Wednesday workout on? Question mark. Martin Svensson says it's a nice course. Yeah, we're enjoying Urukazi. So if you don't know what we're doing, we are running on the new roads, the new routes on the island of, the Makuri Islands, and this is the new routes called Urukazi. And this is one of the first times that people will have had a chance to look at the new routes, the new roads. Carlo, the Stride Foot Pod is 1,000,000 times better than the NPE run, yes, but it is a lot more expensive, and it's still not perfect. So, the thing about the Run Pod and the NPE are that they are inconsistent. So sometimes it seems like they're working okay, and then you'll do an interval and they'll go haywire, they'll go mad, and you'll get ridiculous readings. And sometimes they'll just cut out and stop. Whereas at least the Stride Foot Pod, much as I slag off the company, the Stride Foot Pod is the best unit that we have at the moment for measuring your speed on the treadmill in Zwift and being consistent and reliable. Now, the caveat with that is it will never measure the same as what your treadmill is saying. So if your treadmill says that you're going at 10 kph, the Stride will always say you're going at 9.7 or something like that. So that's the good thing about the Stride, is that it is consistent. It's expensive, but I still would recommend it above everything else, apart from getting a smart treadmill, which of course is a huge, larger amount of money. So there you go. Yes, Paul Hayward says the Stride is consistent. All right, Heather says, can I ask a question about something you said during FMR about recording runs on your watch? Does that mean on your app your runs are recorded twice? One direct from Zwift, one from the watch. Yes, but I delete one. So I record the run on my watch just so it's on my watch. Now the run will then go to Garmin Connect, and it will then go to Strava. And sometimes if you're quick enough, on my Strava you'll see I have one Zwift run and then one treadmill run, and they are both the same run. But as soon as I can, I delete the one on the extra one. So the only record is on my watch, and the other ones are deleted. So yeah, Heather, I take my weekly mileage that I've done off Strava. So Strava will count every run I do, whether it's a Zwift run on the treadmill or an outdoor run. So Strava is what I use to calculate how many miles I've run in a week, or kilometres. So yeah, obviously I delete the extra run on Strava. Marcus says the key to happiness is calibrating your stride so it matches your treadmill and then forget about it. Yep. Okay, 1.5k done, 2.5 to go on our final tour of Makuri, stage 6. And then that'll be the tour of Makuri Islands over. And the Tri Academy is now over as well. So we can settle back into Wednesday workout and various other regular runs. And we'll be doing Bag That Badge on Thursday. But we have got the World Cup, and we are organising some watch-along, football, soccer, whatever you want to call it, watch-along live streams. So where we run on Zwift together and watch the football together. Heather says, I'm not on Strava. I'll have to have a look into that. I mean, it doesn't matter what platform you use. So Garmin Connect, for example, I delete the extra run off there as well. The point is, all I'm wanting to do is make sure that my watch understands approximately how far I've run every week. It doesn't matter about the online services. So Garmin Connect, even if I delete the run from Garmin Connect, which I do, it doesn't affect the watch. It won't delete it from the watch. So the watch is still in. It's annoying because Garmin haven't. They're supposedly trying to join all these things together. But at the moment, your watch is kind of independent of Garmin Connect in many ways. And it will give you different readings for your training readiness score and your VO2 max as well. There's a thing called TrueUp, T-R-U-E-U-P, TrueUp, which is a technology that is supposed to synchronize your fitness between all of your devices. So say you own more than one Garmin watch, so all of your watches, your phone app, and the desktop interface as well. But it doesn't work for everything. So it can be very frustrating. And Clive says, which runs do you keep on Garmin Connect? Everything, again. So all my outdoor runs and all my Zwift runs. But I keep the run on that I do directly from Zwift, because at least that's got the map and things like that on it and my correct heart rate. I know that my watch gives a lot more data, but I'm not really too worried about all that data on the desktop app. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I like a bit of uniformity, so I like to have the map, and I like it if I run 10k on Zwift, I kind of want it to say 10k, but my watch might only record 9.8 or it might record 11k because the calibration isn't very good using the chest strap or the wrist for measuring distance. So I don't really, that makes me feel annoyed. So that's the one I delete. But at least on my watch it'll give me some idea, or it'll give the watch some idea of my fitness and what kind of levels of training I'm doing each week. Carlo says, can the Stride football connect to the Apple Watch? Yes, it can, absolutely. And Stride have their own app which you can download onto the Apple Watch. So you can use you can use your Stride outdoors and indoors, and you can connect it to your Apple Watch. And I don't know how to do it because I've not read, but you can use your Apple Watch to run on Zwift. So you could connect your Stride to your Apple Watch and then your Apple Watch to Zwift, and you could have a throughput of data so that everything matches. Yeah, Paul Hayward says, I still have to use the watch for cadence. Yeah, luckily my treadmill does cadence as well. Right, Clive is now very confused. Are you talking a different language? Why? What have I said? I don't know what Apple Watches? I don't know anything about Apple Watches, really. I've never owned an Apple Watch. All I know is you can use the Apple Watch to connect to Zwift. And I do know you can connect your Stride FootPod to the Apple Watch as well. That's about as far as my knowledge goes on the Apple Watch. Right, 1 mile to go. Voice to text failing dramatically there for Clive. Right, Leo wants to know if anyone has bought anything worth anything in the Black Friday sale. So has anyone bought anything and got a really good deal on anything in the Black Friday sales? Leo has bought some Speedgoat 5s for £80. That is good. Hoka Speedgoat 5 for £80. Well done. That is a good deal. Have I bought anything? Clive Finnemore hasn't bought anything on Black Friday, no. I'm sure I've bought something, but I can't tell you what it is. Oh yes, it's very boring, but I bought a neutral density filter for my camera, reduced from £150 to about £60. Oh yes, and we bought Victoria's laptop. Victoria's laptop was reduced from something ridiculous like 300 or 400 quid or something down to 100 and something, or 200. I can't remember the prices. Anyway, Victoria's laptop and a neutral density filter for my camera. There you go. Carlo has bought the Reebok Jet 100 treadmill on Argos, reduced from $699 to $479. Nice one. Very good. There you go, Leo. So some people have. So anybody who's watching this who's new to Zwift, we are running on some new roads. This is very exciting for us because these new roads on Zwift have only been here a couple of weeks and we've only run them a couple of times now. This is Urukazi, so part of a group of islands called Makuri Islands, meant to be Japanese styled. And we have a beautiful countryside route called Yumezi. We have Neokyo, which is like Tokyo at night with lots of neon lights everywhere. And now we've just been added this coastal route, so beaches, sand, sea, called Urukazi. And we're coming up to 3 kilometers run with 1 kilometer left to do. And then I'm going to go and have my dinner. And I'm going to go and watch France against Australia in the World Cup. And we'll be back tomorrow for Workout Wednesday. Clive was asking what time. That is a very good question, Clive. What do we all think? What time should we do Workout Wednesday tomorrow? Because it's either 4:30 in the afternoon or 7:30. I'm thinking, much as I don't like to run late, it might have to be 7:30 because 4:30. Oh, Clive wants to do 4:30. It's very early, isn't it? It's just, yeah, he says get it done, just get it done. Maybe. What do we think? What does everyone else think? Clive's thinking we just get it done at 4:30. Sebastian wants to do 4:30 as well. That's because it's 5:30 where he is. Tina can't do 7:30, so it's a 4:30 for Tina as well. Nick Dumbleton says 4:30. Right, okay, 4:30 it is then. 4:30 p.m. Tomorrow we will do Wednesday workout just to get it done. It's a tough workout. It always is, so Yoko, I am going to drink plenty of tea when I finish this run. Don't forget, go and watch the Brighton 10k video just uploaded to the Film My Run channel. So that's the other YouTube channel. You're currently watching the Zwift Run channel on YouTube or Twitch or Facebook. Go and have a look at the Film My Run channel if you're not already subscribed there. Some people have already watched it because it was available to members just a few hours earlier. Some videos I will release to members a couple of days early. Some videos just a few hours early. If you want to support the Film My Run channel, or in fact the Zwift Run channel, you can become a member for as little as £1 a month or $1 a month. Paul Haywood says 4:30 is too early for me, but I can do it later. I think the majority have spoken, Paul, so we're going to do it at 4:30. But yeah, hopefully we don't have to do it at 4:30 every week. 6 o'clock is just right for me, just before my dinner, but enough time to still watch some TV before bedtime, and still enough to have a few people watching on the live stream. But any earlier, and it seems like a lunchtime run, and you don't get so many people joining in on the chat and stuff. And if you do like 8 o'clock, you're finished and then you go to bed. It's too late. Anyway, 500 meters to go. Let's drop some ride-ons to those people around us. Clive says, well done everyone. Yeah, we will complete this and get a new shirt in the garage, says Clive. Mount Fuji tempting us in the distance there. Will there be a new climb coming in the next few months up to the top of Mount Fuji? 3,000 meters to the top. Is it 3,000 meters to the top of Mount Fuji? Something like that. It's a tall climb anyway, but a very doable one. If you ever go and visit Mount Fuji, it is regularly climbed by tourists. It's not a difficult. I say not difficult. I mean, it's 3,000 meters, so it is difficult. But in terms of climbing technicality, you don't have to be a climber to do it. As long as you're fit and you've done a bit of climbing before, like walking up steep hills, then apparently it is a doable climb. 200 meters to go.
We are nearly done. There we go. Yoko says, Mount Fuji is 3,776 meters. So it's it's a tall one, isn't it? But yeah, I think it's a doable climb for people. Heather says, thank you very much for all the useful information, everyone. I have to re-watch and take it all in. Right, here we go. Coming up to 4K mark, and then we've just got another 100 meters or so. There's 4K. Yeah, Sebastian, in terms of Ben Nevis, it's basically 3 times the height of Ben Nevis, isn't it? So it's high. It is high. But I mean, I don't know about how technical it is, but I've heard it's doable for somebody who's fit. Good running, folks, says Marcus. Mount Fuji is on my to-do list. Do you know what? I think it's on mine as well. I think it's on mine. Right, I don't know if anyone else is carrying on to 5K or further, but I'm going to stop there. That is me done for the day. Filmed my Run 500 this morning. And, yeah, they're all going off in the distance there. And 4K this evening, so that'll do me. So that's 8 kilometres for the day today. We had a lot longer yesterday. We did about 19 kilometres yesterday, so I'm quite happy to stop there. Yeah, Nick is going on to 5K, so quite a few people are going to run on and get 5K done. I'm going to call it a day there. Marcus, we should arrange our trip to Mount Fuji to climb Mount Fuji. Carlo says, I found a hardly used Stride foot pod on sale on Facebook for £50, but it's first generation. Carlo, I wouldn't worry about that too much. I'd go for it. First generation, the difference between the first generation foot pod and the second generation is it doesn't do wind. It doesn't measure the wind. So when you're outdoors and you're running to power. So right, let me just explain. The thing about the Stride foot pod, the original selling point of the Stride foot pod was that it was a power meter for runners. So you know, like cyclists use power meters on their bikes. The point about Stride when it was originally made and still is their unique selling point, or they like to think it's their unique selling point, is that they are a power meter for runners. Now, obviously, when you're running into the wind, you are generating more power because you're pushing harder into the wind. But the old Stride foot pod didn't measure that extra effort because it couldn't measure the wind strength. So the second generation Stride foot pod measures wind coming at you, so it can adjust the power to make up for the extra power that you're generating when you're running into the wind. But if you're on a treadmill, there is no wind. It's not measuring any wind anyway. So if you're just going to use it for running on Zwift, then the first generation Stride will be perfectly adequate, perfectly fine. And do you know what? Even outdoors, to be honest, when I've been using the second generation Stride foot pod, I often remove the power generated by the wind because it confuses the issue for me. Because I like to know. Well, I like to know numbers that are unsullied by other stuff. I won't go on about it now. But when I'm trying to balance efforts, so I'm looking at a 10k that was done into the wind and a 10k that was done not in the wind. One will give like a higher power score, and I just remove that so that they both look the same. Anyway, forget it. Yeah, Paul Hayward says, not unless you have a very strong fan pointed at your feet when you're running at the treadmill. And Marcus Holmes says, the wind thing always seemed a little bit gimmicky to me. Yeah. Carlos says, excellent. Okay, yeah, go for that one. That's £50 is very good for a Stride foot pod, so go for that. Right, I am off. I'm going to have my dinner and watch France against Australia in the World Cup. Take care, everyone. We will see you tomorrow for the Wednesday workout at 4:30 UK time. Take care. Bye-bye.